are now listening to Lauer Road Radio.
Hey, welcome one and all to the #1 podcast, winter, spring, and fall. Talking sports for the thrill of it all. Hey, talking life, but we're killing it all. Jason and Dan with the master plan. These are dangerous men with the mic in the hand. Bonafide winners everywhere that we go. You're a part of the team.
Lauer Radio.
Dad light, thug light, bright lights in sight. All right. Dad light, thug light, bright lights in sight. All right. Yeah. Dad light, thug light, bright lights in sight. All right. Bonafide winners everywhere that we go. You're a part of the team.
Lauer Radio.
Let's get it.
What? At Tanagra, when the walls fell. This is Dan Owings coming at you another time for Lauer Road Radio with my co-host, per usual, Jason. How you doing today?
Good. So I want to test some YouTube algorithms.
Okay.
Okay. So, for instance, I was going through how people have found our show on YouTube on all the things. And we talked about it one time, like Fart on a Teddy Bear was something that people had Googled to get to us.
Searched that. We don't know that people Googled that to get to us, but we know people Googled that and
found
they
us.
got to us.
Right. So what I want to do is, and the list is really strange. I'll save you the...
Give me a pen.
So what I want to do is just come up with 2 or 3 things that we have never talked about ever.
Okay.
And
put it on the description.
We'll put it in the description at the very top line, and we're going to label the episode.
Oh, so you want
Google or YouTube algorithm.
The name of the episode
yes.
will be YouTube algorithm.
Because I want to see if this all connects.
So the name of the episode, normally I listen to it, and then I come up with a really catchy name.
This can't be any worse.
Algorithm.
Your spell check will figure it out.
Let's go with that.
Okay, so what we'll just say, let's do the Mount Rushmore of things we have never talked about. Now listen, this goes back.
We've talked about a lot.
I know, this is going to be hard. We go back, we were just talking about right before we hit record, is this show in the audio format is actually 6 years old. And we've done over 300 audio episodes. And we've done 70 video.
Have we talked about tiny houses?
No. So tiny houses.
Because that's a searchable thing. People like to search for tiny houses.
Tiny houses, okay?
We might have talked about pretty pink houses, but I don't think we ever talked about tiny houses.
Are you talking John Mellencamp? The best intro to any song ever is a John Mellencamp song. It's I Need a Lover That Won't Drive Me Crazy. It's a 2-minute intro to a song. No, not that one. Okay, listen. We have never... Stop. We have never...
Little ditty about Jack and Diane.
John Mellencamp. I don't think we've ever talked about John Mellencamp.
Should we say John Cougar Mellencamp?
Yes, John Cougar Mellencamp.
Cougar Mellencamp.
So that's 2 of things that we've never talked about.
Now, we have talked about going to Mellencamp when you and I were kids. We went to Mellencamp,
cantaloupe.
And you learned how to
pick
grow
out at the grocery
melons
store.
And,
There was a whole camp for that.
Yeah, it was Mellencamp 92, I think. And
Lake Winnipesaukee.
if I remember correctly, you were the muskmelon champion of 92.
Well, I threw a muskmelon further than anybody else.
You did. And no one asked you to, though. That was the thing.
That was the thing.
Then they created the muskmelon throwing championship named after you.
Right.
And still to this day, I think
it's
at
the
Mellencamp.
Owings Muskmelon.
Mellencamp, where was that? That was in
Lake Winnipesaukee.
Lake Winnipesaukee, that's right.
Yeah.
I must went to a different Mellencamp.
That's enough. What's next?
Okay, so this is a very hot topic right now.
Okay.
Gettr. Gettr.
Gettr.
You have no idea what this is, do you?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't
you don't
know.
look at anything. It's a Twitter knockoff. So Joe Rogan recently did a podcast with Dr. Malone, and Dr. Malone said that
Sam Malone?
No.
Post Malone.
No, stop. He actually did do a Post Malone.
Carl Malone?
No. Listen, we'll do the Mount Rushmore Malones later.
Okay.
So in this interview, which doesn't really matter, it's very entertaining and informational. You should go watch it. But he talks about he had been kicked off of Twitter, and he signed up on Gettr. And Joe Rogan says, well, what's Gettr? Mm-hmm. And so literally the show releases 3 or 4 days ago, and they have over 300,000 people sign up in the last just 2 or 3 days. I think it was 500,000, the most recent number I saw.
700,000 as
700,000
yeah.
after today. So more than 500,000 people signed up on Gettr because Joe Rogan signed up on Gettr.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's just crazy. So Gettr is a very hot topic.
Okay.
And this might help with the YouTube algorithm test.
All right.
And that's interesting. So we got one more thing. What? Jesse's laughing at something. I can't.
Pre-Malone, post-Malone.
Okay,
They made
I'm slightly familiar with who Post Malone is, but
So,
that's
wait a
not
minute.
funny
Who's this
to me.
guy? His name's Robert Malone?
Yeah, Dr.
Okay.
Dr.
Because he
Malone.
might end up being on the Mount Rushmore of Malones.
Well, I think he might be. Okay.
Okay.
We got
Sorry.
one more thing.
Uh-huh.
Something that we have never ever
right.
talked about.
I'm trying to think of something that is like internet famous.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Like the tiny
What
house
was-
thing
oh,
is a big
wait.
thing.
Remember the YouTube video is one of the very first ones, Chocolate Rain.
I don't remember that.
Do you remember that?
No.
Well, then it's not worth mentioning.
Okay. I mean, if it was
What's
an
the
originally
first
famous,
YouTube video that you remember seeing?
I think it was the panda that sneezes and then farts. Is that what it is?
I don't.
It's like a panda. It's like one
I
of the
don't think
most viewed YouTube videos of all time. I think it. Yeah, or it farts and it scares a baby panda or something.
It's the baby panda sneezes. It scares the adult panda. And the adult panda farts.
That's
in
what
fear.
it is.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's this whole chain. It's incredible.
That's a great video.
Okay.
Farting
But you don't know
pandas?
what it's called.
I don't know what it's called. How about a famous person that we've never talked about?
Okay, we can do this.
We've talked about a lot of famous people.
We
I mean,
have.
our Netflix suggestion of the week. So there's
Well, okay,
sports celebrities, there's movie celebrities. We're going to talk a lot about music.
The Adele.
Adele.
We have never talked about Adele.
Hello, is it me? No, that's Lionel Richie. She has another hello. Hello from the outside.
Yeah. So
I'm an Adele fan.
yeah,
She makes me tear up, you know.
she's very, very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of emotion.
Adele is on the Mount, and I can't do the rest of this Mount Rushmore,
Yeah.
but Adele is definitely on the Mount Rushmore of my boyfriend just broke up with me,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
going to listen to this while eating ice cream from a carton.
There was an SNL skit like that.
Oh, really?
Yes, you have to watch it. It's actually very funny. This was when the show was still funny, a couple years ago. They're playing one of those like sad songs,
Mm-hmm.
and they literally eating ice cream out of pints of
yeah,
containers.
Adele is on the Mount Rushmore. of
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Maybe Sarah McLachlan.
It was like dying puppy dogs.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Taylor
I don't-
Swift.
Taylor Swift is
Yeah,
she?
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't.
I
complete it.
couldn't either.
Rebecca St. James.
Definitely. What's a song? Is there a song that makes you cry?
Oh, yes.
Cats in the Cradle.
Cats in the Cradle might be the
When you're
one.
coming home, son, I don't know when. We'll get together then.
You'll know, have a good time then.
Yep.
Yeah, that one. That's probably the one.
That's
I like the Ugly Kid Joe version.
I don't. I
Yeah.
just know the one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's a couple versions. It's a great song.
All right. So
listen,
Tiny
go-
Houses, John Cougar Mellencamp, Gettr, and Adele.
That's our YouTube algorithm test.
And the name of the episode is I think it's episode 80.
I think it is. Yeah.
Episode 80, YouTube algorithm. And then on the description,
We're gonna list that in the Mount Rushmore. And so the key is when we here's the whole test. I want to see people searching and then clicking our show based on the description, right?
even though we're not going to talk, although we did kind of talk about all of these things.
We did.
So
Yeah.
it's not false advertising.
No, we talked about
It's
all
just
those things.
we're not known for these things at all.
No, we could be.
Would you ever live in a tiny house?
Yeah, I would. Well, my wife and I have talked about when we get rid of all the kids. We've already got one out of the house.
And notice the language there is not when the kids move out.
No, when
it's
we get
when
rid of
we
them.
get rid of the kids.
Yes. Listen, we didn't ask them to come into this world. They just showed up.
Turns out that there are certain laws in place.
I know.
In which kids are produced.
Yeah. It's it's science.
Took you 5 kids to realize that.
Well, 4.5. So Harrison, this is relevant to right now. Today's his birthday.
Really? How old is he?
15.
15. That's kind of a boring birthday. I mean, it's like...
There's 1 year away from 16.
13's big. I'm a teenager.
Yeah.
16, obviously big.
Yeah, 18.
18's huge. 21's another big one. But
speaking
15,
of smoking, your kids have never smoked. What's up with that?
Well, not until they met you did they smoke. Yeah, do you know this story, Jesse?
No, we haven't talked about it.
We go to the downtown Marion extravaganza.
And is that what it was called?
That's what I'm calling it.
Okay.
It was quite a
the
show.
Ball drop.
It was quite a show.
New
they
Year's
were
Eve
putting on
ball
there.
drop. Yeah.
And
it was the rockin' poppin' ball drop. I think.
It was I don't want to disparage our main sponsor for the show,
News Force,
but they were putting it on.
Yeah.
And all I'm saying is, just next time, just call me. I am for a fee. I'm available to MC
you
this.
Totally. Well, we both could have hosted
yes,
it,
and
we would have told jokes.
It would have been
kept the crowd going.
The joke was that I was going to show up and grab the microphone and be like, "At Tanagra," and hold it out.
When the walls fell. We're gonna have to plant some people in the crowd if we do that.
Anyway. So we were there, and you brought Harrison, and you had the idea, Harrison, we're going to bring a cigar.
Couple cigars.
And we're going to light up at midnight.
Yes.
And smoke a stogie at midnight.
Well, drinking, I thought about the whiskey, and drinking downtown Marion in front of a bunch of cops and giving my 15-year-old
And we literally
son,
were 10 feet from 5 or 6 police officers.
Yes. Which that doesn't bother me. I just didn't want to drink in a public setting with my teenager.
I get it. So you, at midnight, light up these cigars, and Levi looks over, and Harrison, who is awful at it.
He was struggling.
Yeah. Levi was like, "Harrison, what are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm smoking a cigar." And
Levi looks at me. He's like, "Are those real?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, they're real."
So you said, "Do you want one?" He's like, "I'll try it," And Erica looked at me, and I was like, "I can't control this. I don't know." And so he got it. I don't know. One profile. He's like, "That's awful. What is this? Is horrible." You know.
Right.
Michaela, she took right to it.
Oh, yeah. It looked like she was not a beginner. She's done that before.
She like pulled out a cigar clip, you know what I mean, out of her pocket. She's like, "I got it."
She's been waiting for that moment.
No, she took a couple of puffs, and I said, "What do you think?" She's like, "It's horrible. It's not good." And and she was like, "My head hurts." Although she just took like literally 3 puffs of a cigar.
But she was puffing better than Levi.
Yes. Yeah. So, no, my kids typically do not smoke.
Yeah.
But
typically mine don't either. So
typically.
I mean, I'm trying
to
get them into it.
I was like, obviously, I was like, "Try it. It's horrible. You'll hate it." Like,
I mean, if you want to stop them from smoking, give them a cigar when they're 6.
I'm not concerned about you like taking a puff of a cigar and being like, "This is incredible." Like, you're not gonna like this.
It's an acquired taste.
It's acquired by drunk people. That's who acquires it, and then they have acquired it.
Well, maybe.
But sober people
Did I
acquire
get addicted to cigars from being drunk? I don't know.
I don't think you're
remember.
addicted to cigars.
No,
though.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I buy 2 or 3 a year, and it's usually like if I'm out golfing or playing poker with a bunch of guys. It's one of those, which I never do. I never do any of that stuff. I've got kids. I can't do that stuff.
I've never smoked a cigarette before. But I've said this before. But if I'm ever at a firing squad, I will ask for a cigarette.
If you're just attending.
No.
Hey, give me.
Come on,
hey,
man.
I need one over here. The guy getting shot. It's like he gets a cigarette. He's like, "You need more over here?"
Yeah, come on, man. You're gonna need it. So if I'm ever getting shot by a firing squad, blindfolded, I'm gonna ask for a cigarette. It just seems appropriate.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm a romantic. All right.
I have a cigar story.
Okay.
What's your first thing, Jason?
Okay, so
that would have been a good time to do the cutoff.
The cutoff.
Like Jesse starts to say something, and then it gets cut off, and then the next shot is me and Jason going.
Well, so you blew it.
I know, but that would have been perfect.
So listen, we had talked about. I sent Dan a text, or do we want to save that?
No, we'll save it. Okay. So what do you? We have to do this. I promised. A lot of things.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't watch sports anymore, and that's just the way it is.
I gave up on sports.
Somebody
a
called
long
me
time ago.
yesterday, and they were like, "Hey, man, your Bengals are in the playoff." I'm like, "What sport are we talking about?" I don't know. I had no idea that
The
they were.
80s rock band that sang "Walk Like an Egyptian."
Yeah, I didn't. The Bengals. I didn't know the Bengals. First of all, I mean, if you told me they were like in the NFC South now, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense.
yeah.
I don't know. So
They
I
play
didn't
the
know that
49ers, right?
I didn't know the NFL was at the stage in which playoff teams were being decided.
Do you know who their quarterback is?
Well, actually, I do know. It's the Ohio State guy. Well, that went to LSU, Joe Burrow, right?
Yeah.
So I do know that, but I didn't know. If you would have told me they're 2-10
Or 10-2,
what? Sure, I didn't watch the Ohio State bowl game.
Yeah.
And I get a text from Erica's uncle, who knows I'm a Ohio State fan, and in the middle of it, and he goes, "What a game!" And I was like, "I don't." Yeah. So then I was texting with him, and he was with his son and sons-in-law.
Yeah.
And then Luke. This is a different Luke.
Okay.
I don't know. We
Not
don't have a
Husky
nickname for. It's his cousin Luke. He works at. He works for Shields. I'm trying to think of how
What's
we could give
Shields?
Luke a nickname. Shields is like an outdoor store, like a Bass Pro Shops kind of a.
Let's just call him Cousin Luke.
Cousin Luke is good.
Yeah, Cousin Luke and Husky Luke.
Okay, so cousin Luke then
Who's
texted
not
me.
our cousin. No,
he's my wife's cousin.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know Luke.
You don't know Luke, although you would like Luke. Luke's a good guy. He's a funny guy. He said, "What is the Mount Rushmore of New Year's resolutions?" He texted me.
Well, listen.
And
this
so-
goes into what I want to talk about.
And so I said, "Well, we'll definitely talk about it on the show." So I got to keep that promise
okay, well, let's
to cousin Luke.
Okay, we'll discuss my first thing and then we'll go to that. So, on the Mount Rushmore of things that you don't necessarily want to get for Christmas, I got one of those things. I don't even know what the list is until I opened up the gift, and I got that thing. My wife,
Deodorant,
no,
because that sends a message.
we get that for our boys. Which is true. We get them an Old Spice pack, the deodorant, the shampoo, the.
I heard an interview with Ray Romano. Ray Romano.
Whatever.
I think anyway. Ray, whatever.
Everybody
that
loves Raymond.
Everybody loves Raymond. I heard an interview with him, and he said there was somebody on the set of the television show that had horrible breath, like just awful breath. And he had read that a tongue scraper will get rid of bad breath, like if you do a tongue scraper every day. But he didn't want to give it as a Christmas present,
yeah.
so he literally bought everybody on the set a tongue scraper in order to fix this one problem. I'm sure it didn't work, but anyway. So
on,
you get
on
this
the Mount
gift.
Rushmore. I open up this gift, and
What should your
from my lovely wife
eyes should appear?
a scale, a weight scale.
Okay.
I think it's a sign she wants me to lose weight.
Yeah. Is it a nice one?
She got it at Goodwill.
Okay.
It's a digital scale it goes with an app, so I can.
I
put
don't
it on
trust
my
a
phone.
digital scale.
Listen,
can I just say that?
I would
that
rather
I
have
don't
an
trust?
analog, like a
I like that.
physical. Yeah. Where if you're heavy enough, it'll go all the way around.
Yeah, and I like
Yep,
jumping on
heard
it.
that.
Yeah.
You have to start doing math to figure out how much you weigh because it's already gone around once, and it's like, okay, 42 plus it started at 200. So I got a digital scale,
Okay.
and so I started losing weight because it obviously it was a sign that my wife is disgusted with me. So I started keto. I haven't had sugar or carbs for like a week.
Okay.
I'm down 7 pounds.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get down to 180. And then I'll start eating pizza and carbs and sugar, and I'll get back up to 220 where I'm at now. I've cycled between 220 and 180 my whole life until I got to 248 one time. That was bad. I came down. So 220 is my new number. If I hit 220, I got to keto it.
Okay.
And then I'll keto down to 180, and then I'll bounce back up to 220.
Yeah.
I'm sure the yo-yo is really good because it helps the body reset.
Sure.
That's what I
Whatever.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever you got to tell
Yo-yo
yourself.
your weight.
Yo-yo your weight. So what is your... That's...
My wife got me a digital scale because
Okay.
I'm fat.
All
So I
right.
started keto. That's my
Okay.
first thing.
I see.
So I've been making great keto things. Lots of bacon and eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
It's fun. It's good. So that's New Year's resolutions.
Okay,
I'm
so
leading. I'm
the Mount
it's a transition.
Rushmore of New Year's resolutions. I said my answer
Losing
was
weight.
that Washington is losing weight.
100%.
Right.
Is there anybody in America that doesn't want to Well, there's a few. There's one guy I work with wants to gain weight. He's really skinny.
I found a YouTube channel of a guy that does these videos of it's like celebrating my 1 pound weight loss, and he's surrounded by McDonald's stuff, and he's like mouth is full of fries.
That's pretty great.
He's a big guy.
That's pretty great.
So my answer,
Losing weight is the George Washington.
yes, losing weight
let me-
is the George Washington.
So do you already have a list?
Well, I made one, yeah.
Because I know what yours probably is.
Okay.
Yours is probably read more books.
Well, that was one that I thought was a big one for a lot of people.
Lots of people want to read more.
Mm-hmm.
Do they? No, they watch more TV.
Yeah.
But reading books is something worthy of
I think a lot of people make that resolution that
yeah.
they want to read more. Don't you
I think so. I think so.
I don't know.
I would say spending time with family.
Nah.
Well,
Well,
I mean, do you want to? No, but that's why you have to make it a resolution.
Here's what I said. George Washington, weight loss. Abraham Lincoln, read more. Thomas Jefferson, budget.
Oh, yeah,
we got to
always
get our budget under control.
yeah.
And then Teddy Roosevelt was exercise. Because lose weight and exercise. Because some people don't need to lose weight, but
That's
they're like,
true.
I want to get ready for a marathon. I want to get in better shape. I want to be
Yeah,
stronger. So sometimes those overlap, but not always.
That's true.
So I
You
would
can
say,
diet and exercise are two different things.
yeah, and so I would say that there are some people that would be like, yeah, I want to. This year I'm going to run a marathon. That kind of thing.
Everybody, like the January 1st, Planet Fitness is overflowing with people, and it will be for 1 week, and then it will go back down to 10 people. Right? Every year it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
When we were at the YMCA, I haven't been a member in a couple years. We actually stopped with COVID because
Yep.
everything was weird.
Same.
But when we were members at the Y, I never went in January because that's when everybody went. Because everybody's trying to get back. I'm like, I'll wait a month. I'll be back. So, and I haven't
So
been
yeah,
back.
am I missing any?
No, I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think a modern one might be something like screen time.
Less
Cut
screen
down
time.
on social media, that
Yeah.
sort of thing. But I feel like that's a pretty tried and true list.
That's the Mount Rushmore. Are we going to hit the Mount Rushmore of Malones?
Yeah, let's just do it because I can't think of a lot more. So I would say number 1 would be Karl Malone.
Yes.
Number 2, I couldn't tell you a Post Malone song if he
No.
came in here singing it right now.
He's got tattoos on the face, right?
I know that he's the
Yeah.
tattoo guy, but Post Malone.
Yeah.
Sam Malone from Cheers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then Robert Malone. this
Dr.
doctor.
Robert Malone, yeah. That's it.
Is there another Malone?
Is it Kevin from The Office? Kevin Malone?
Oh, I think Kevin from The Office is Malone.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Not everybody knows he's a Malone.
That's
Even the
true.
fact that you're
Right.
like, yeah, I don't know if he is or not. Dr. Malone.
And Sam Malone is like Sam Malone.
Sam Malone.
Come on, what are we talking
Carl
about?
Malone?
Are we talking Carl?
Post Malone?
Moses Malone?
Moses Malone.
I don't know who that is.
He was a basketball player in the 80s.
Yeah.
That's a
Figured
pretty
you
good
would know
one.
that, yeah.
But I feel like still Karl Malone is like top 5
Yeah.
points all time. I mean, him and Stockton played against Jordan.
Yeah, that's it.
Karl Malone. So Sam Malone, Post Malone, Karl Malone, Robert Malone. Just in case anybody ever wanted to know.
No,
the
I
Mount
don't know if
Rushmore.
anybody's ever done the Mount Rushmore of Malones. That might be a first. So that's pretty good.
You want to do the Mount Rushmore of Stocktons just to, you know? I think there's a golfer named Dick Stockton. Obviously John Stockton.
Obviously. Stockton, the city.
There's a Stockton City. Yeah.
Is that California? Mm-hmm.
And a gun is stocked and loaded. Is that right?
No.
No?
No.
That's not a thing?
Cock and loaded?
Cockfighting.
Yeah.
Rooster fighting.
Rooster, we have to
Stockton.
specify.
There's a city in California named
There's a lot
Stockton.
of upset people.
There's
they watched last week's episode expecting a breakdown of rooster fighting,
Uh-huh.
and they didn't get it.
Well, we talked a little bit about it. I gave everyone the inside scoop on it. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of Stockton. When I just type in Stockton, a lot of Stockton University, Stockton, California.
I think it's Stockton, California, John Stockton, Dick Stockton. We got
I
one
feel
more.
like Karl Malone is so close to John Stockton. Like he could be on the Stockton Mount Rushmore. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just Googled famous Stockton, and it's people. None of their names are Stockton.
Okay.
Oh, they're famous people from Stockton. Maybe that should be the Stockton Mount Rushmore. Walter Anthony, Dennis Dunn, Santino Fontana,
Don't know any
Kay
of them.
Forrester, Chase Hudson, Mark Gannett, Lamont Johnson. I don't know any of those people.
No.
So, sorry.
Okay.
All right, what you got?
So in the Mount Rushmore of working out of resolutions, in my effort to lose weight because my wife thinks I'm fat. Well, she knows I'm fat. I know that too. She just happened to confirm it with the gift of a scale. I started working out, and on January or New Year's Eve, I was walking the dog. And I've got a 5-mile loop that I do. And usually when I end the loop, I'm over by Planet Fitness.
Okay.
So I ended the loop, and I walked in front of Planet Fitness, right in front of the windows, and it was packed. And everybody's, it's Planet Fitness. I've never been inside. I've walked past a bunch because it's on my route. Everything's clean and nice and upscale. It looks very, very nice from the outside. I had a moment in my mind where I'm like, this is Rocky. This is Rocky 4.
You're Rocky.
I'm Rocky.
And they're...
the Russian, Ivan Drago. Yeah. They're lifting in the gym. Do you know Rocky 4? Okay.
Yes.
It makes me feel better.
And
and I'm Rocky.
I mean, Rocky was chopping wood. You're walking a puny little dog.
At work, I lift heavy things at work, and I do real work. I just haven't, really put everything together just right. But I'm in the process of doing
My
that
favorite
right
part of Rocky is when he outruns a car while he's training.
Well, the car's in the snow. And I think he gets out of the car and he slams something down.
Yeah.
That's the Rocky 4 montage of working out, of him chopping wood, doing jump rope in the barn.
And also remembering his friend getting murdered. There's a couple of scenes where he's
Apollo getting murdered.
Thinking about Apollo getting killed.
And then seeing Ivan
towel.
like injecting the steroids and he's all ripped. And
everything's like lasers and stuff.
Yeah. He does the punching bag and the digital goes, Rocky's out there with the little speed bag in the barn, 0-degree weather. That montage is my favorite montage of any movie ever created.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Yeah.
And listen, montages are overdone. Listen,
I'll take a montage anytime I can get one. I'm a huge fan. It's like even on comedies, I love a comedy montage. Like on Seinfeld, they'll do montages sometimes.
Well,
I'm a huge fan of a montage.
I feel like they're overdone. I feel like maybe we've gotten away from it, but I feel like 10, 20 years ago, montages were way overdone.
Okay.
Everything was a montage. Now I guess you don't see them as much.
Let me ask you a question, Jason.
Yeah.
Were there more montages in the 80s than there are today?
Yes.
Were the 80s a better decade than today?
It was, yeah.
So maybe you can draw a direct line from
we need more montages.
More montages.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The Rocky montage is my favorite.
It's a good one.
That's the point. I love it. If you've never seen it, now they just released a director's cut. I haven't watched it yet. I don't know how you watch it. I don't know how you.
I want to watch it. Best montages. I would say Rocky.
Yes.
Rudy. The Hoosiers montage is great.
Yes.
Come on, hitting all those little gyms.
Yeah.
And you see them getting knocked around and stuff.
The band's going. It's.
I mean, the Hoosiers montage might be my favorite.
Okay, so of the Goosebump montages, those are the three. It's Rocky, Rudy, Hoosiers.
Those are great montages,
and they're all sports.
Yeah, I think sports. Are there any other?
You said comedy montage.
Yeah, but those are like making fun of it.
So we got one more montage.
I feel like there would be like a montage of like there would be a montage in like Gone in 60 Seconds of them like getting the car ready or something.
Oh, yeah,
and like building something.
Wait. Does Ant-Man count when he tells the story? The Mexican tells the story, and it's
I don't think that's a montage though. That's a flashback.
I guess you're
a different thing. But there's got to be superhero montages.
What's the difference between a montage and a flashback?
A montage is a bunch of different shots that show a passage of time.
At the end of the montage, isn't it also a flashback then?
There's some crossover, but there's a definite difference between a flashback and a montage.
Do you got one?
Didn't they do a montage in one of the Fast and Furious after Paul Walker died?
I've never seen those.
I swear, if I ever watched a Fast and Furious, I made a pact with my wife that if you ever walk in and I'm watching Fast and Furious, like divorce me immediately.
Yeah. My wife and I are on the same page. We have never watched them, not once. I'm not even interested.
I really thought that was going to be a better suggestion. I was like, they're going to like this one.
No. Do you know us? Have you ever watched the show? Have one time we ever talked about Cars or Fast and the Furious?
Wait a minute. I got one.
Okay.
I believe there's a Braveheart montage where they're showing like different battles.
Okay.
Like they're just showing over a period of time. These guys have been fighting and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive there's a Braveheart montage.
You're
that's
probably
pretty
either
good.
Braveheart or The Patriot. There's a Mel Gibson montage.
Listen. A Mel Gibson montage.
Are you talking about Mel Gibson montage?
Let's go. Rudy, Rocky, Hoosiers, Braveheart.
Okay.
For the Mount Rushmore of montages. I mean, we might have been the first ones to ever do a Mount Rushmore of montages.
Yeah. I'd say Malone's more likely never been done than montage.
Yeah. We still need to do the Mount Rushmore of LauerRoadRadio episodes. I would go.
I need to do a little
25, 52, 17,
19
and
was
3. That's my 4.
19 was Nate Land Krispy Kreme Challenge.
Was it?
Yeah. I know.
It had Matt, right?
It had Matt
Yeah,
in it.
that was a pretty good one.
Do you think the Jimmy Lasher one with the gefilte fish?
No. I love Jimmy, but no. This one's better than that one.
Is it?
Yeah.
We don't have nothing to eat.
That's, you know what? And I think we're the better for it. I think it's like interesting in the room.
At the time, people have searched for gefilte fish, and they found our episode on that.
Well, okay.
Boy, the YouTube algorithm on this one, because this is like...
This is going to be all over the place.
This is
It's going
all
to be
over
hard
the
to
place.
write this description. I might miss a couple. All right. Is it my turn? You wanted to talk about montages. I want to talk about... I'm on a streak that is pretty amazing. I would say, and I don't think I'm exaggerating here.
Yeah.
I would say for the last 20 nights, I'm a brush my teeth at night guy.
Yeah.
Are you a brush your teeth at night guy?
No.
Before I go to bed, I always brush my teeth.
Yeah.
That's my thing. And I would say for the last 20 days, every time I've put the toothpaste on the toothbrush, I've had the thought to myself, that's the last toothpaste I'll get from this tube.
Yeah.
And I mean,
It
it's
just
like
keeps coming.
it's like a miracle from the Bible. Toothpaste just keeps on coming.
The oil is...
I can't explain it,
continuously-
because last night I was like, that's gotta be the last one. And if I tonight get more toothpaste out of that tube, I don't know.
Now, are you a roll guy?
No, I'm
you're-
just a
Yeah.
I kind of like push it, and then it's just long and flat at the end, and I've really pushed it out.
That's what I do. I've also seen the roll, the real tight roll.
I don't mind the roll. They also have like a little tool that goes up it.
That's cheating.
Dude, if you get the tool, you might be able to stretch it another 20 nights.
I might be able to. I've thought about getting some tools from my toolbox to try to like a pair of like needle nose pliers or something,
yeah.
But I did buy some toothpaste the other day because I was like,
you
okay,
want to stretch it.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna let this thing ride. So I don't really. There's not a lot to say about
Hit
this.
the Netflix.
But I'm just excited. Like every night.
I'm with you. It's an
I
exciting
think I don't think it's exaggerated. I think 20 nights is what I'm on. I'd say it's been at least. It's been 3 weeks. I think.
Netflix, watch these shows with us. Netflix, or maybe Hulu Plus. Netflix, watch these shows with us. Netflix, or maybe Hulu Plus. Or maybe Amazon Prime or something like that, like YouTube. Or we don't want to put a box around what you watch, so you never know.
All right, Jason, what is your Netflix suggestion of the week?
2 nights ago, I watched the All Madden. It's the John Madden documentary that's on. It's presented by Fox Sports. You can find it on the ESPN platform.
Okay.
And apparently, this was in the works for a long time. There was a lot of prep work. He was actually in this documentary.
Okay.
And it published like Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
John Madden watched it with his family.
Really?
And then 2 days later died.
Have you been to the grocery store lately?
No.
There are a lot of People magazines that are Betty White turns 100. What's her secret?
Oh.
Yeah. It's awkward.
Yeah. Well, in the print media, you're going to be either ahead or behind.
Yeah, well.
I mean, the digital media, it's always now, right? They printed those
Yeah, I mean, like, guys, we printed this. We got to get it out there.
We gotta get it
And
out.
someone did the math and found out that the number of leap years that she's lived through adds enough days to get her to 100 and like 100
Okay.
years old in 6 days. So
Okay.
technically,
All right. If you count a year by 365.
That's only 25
Yeah.
more days, right?
Yeah, because she was close to 100.
Yeah, so every 4 years it'd be 25 days.
Yeah.
And she died like a week before. No, it'd get her to 100 almost exactly.
yeah, it was like 100 in like a couple days.
Okay.
But yeah, they did
I
the
mean,
math.
if you're stretching the math.
Yep, might as
okay.
well.
Okay.
You got the magazines printed, might as well.
It's a bit awkward.
That's pretty funny. Yeah.
So-
Well, apparently there's a Betty White like documentary, like her birthday celebration. They're playing it at the movie theaters. This has been in the works for a long time. They're still playing ads in the movie theater.
Can
for
I say something?
Betty White's birthday?
I like Betty White as much as the next guy, but it's not like she's like,
National treasure. Betty White.
she was on the Golden Girls,
She had been around. She's done a lot. She's very funny.
She's funny.
Very funny.
Listen, I like Betty White.
Do you like Betty White?
I'm a fan. She's on the Mount Rushmore of Bettys.
Yeah. Betty Crocker.
Betty Bop.
Betty White.
Or is it Betty Boop? Betty Boop.
Betty Boop.
Betty White. Betty Crocker.
Yeah.
Betty won't. When you're like, do you think he'll do that? I'm like, Betty won't. All right.
That's also in the Mount Rushmore of things Aaron says.
No, you won't. You won't do it. That's what Aaron
won't
says.
do it.
Yeah. The Mount Rushmore of things Aaron says is you won't do it. Anytime he's around a teenage
You won't do
boy,
it.
you won't do it. And then they stick their hand in a fire or,
Yeah.
eat something disgusting. You won't do it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing would be he whines a lot when he's around his wife.
Yeah.
And whenever he's hungry, he goes, Riley. So that would be the other thing. So you won't do it. Riley. I'm going to have to think about this.
Kazoo playing.
Well, I mean, it's not a kazoo, but
It's a story,
Just
right?
annoying noises might be
Yeah,
another
yeah.
one. He's very
Okay.
good at annoying noises.
Yeah.
And finish it off. Better than you, because that's what he says
Okay.
when I say how you doing.
Better than you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
We'll have Aaron on soon.
Sure.
Aaron,
Yeah, we should.
Aaron's fun.
My Netflix. What? So yours was what again?
Oh, All Madden.
All Madden.
So it's a documentary about John Madden. It's actually fantastic. It gave me the feels.
Boom.
I got the tears going.
Was Pat
was very
Summerall
good.
on it?
Well, he's dead.
He's no
but-
longer with us.
No, they featured him. I mean, he was an intricate role in John Madden's life. John Madden was one of the best coaches to ever coach. Won the Super Bowl at the youngest age ever, like 32. Retired at 42. Was the best broadcaster ever, and has the best video game ever. Like, his career is massive.
Levi, when it said something, John Madden died, and Levi's like, "Is he the guy that invented that video game?"
Now, what's funny is on the video game, I don't know if you know this, but the guy that he was working with to do the digital game, it was still in the 8-bit format. And he's like, this is going to be complicated because we don't think the processor can handle 22 players on a field. He's like, if we eliminate the offensive and defensive line, we could just go quarterback receiver. And John Madden goes, that's not football. Like, I'm not going to put my name on it if it doesn't have 11 on 11.
That's funny.
And so, like, they stretched it and they made it. And, like, John Madden made that game better based on his input. So
John Madden might be more directly responsible for the sale of turduckens.
Oh, 100%.
Don't you think?
No, they touched on that.
Oh, did
so
they?
In Louisiana, some guy, like at a restaurant, makes these turduckens, and he was doing a game in New Orleans for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So this guy, like,
It's like, boom, you got the turducken, and you got the thing right there, and all that stuff.
look,
Yeah.
you got turkey, you got stuffing, you got duck, and you got chicken.
Yeah.
Turducken. Well, listen, I wanted turducken really, really bad, but this guy's market, like his whatever he made it, he went from like selling like a couple dozen to thousands and
So
thousands.
he has John
every
Madden
single
to
year.
thank for.
Yeah, absolutely. And now turducken is a
I'd
household name.
love to eat a turducken.
Would you like to eat turducken?
I would eat a turducken all day. All right.
With the exception of the stuffing, it's 100% keto.
Well, I'm not a stuffing in the
Oh,
turkey guy.
I love stuffing.
yeah.
Stuffing
Stuffing.
belongs stuffed in the turkey.
It's
belongs
like
in the trash.
It's
there's
listen,
like
it
turkey blood on it.
Yes, it's got all the juices, the turkey juices. That's what makes it good.
Of all the bloods, turkey blood.
I drink some turkey blood.
All right, that's Mount Rushmore blood. You want to drink turkey, beef, goat, human. That was easy.
No.
Well, if you're a vampire.
Well, yes. If you're that's a whole different one.
If you're a vampire, it would be probably human, ape, chimpanzee, monkey. All right.
What's your
my Netflix suggestion of the week is a documentary by Ken Burns called The Prohibition. Are you familiar with this?
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's really good. There's this quote from this British guy in it. He says, "They say that the British cannot fix anything properly without a dinner, but I'm sure that Americans can fix nothing without a drink. If you meet, you drink. If you make an acquaintance, you drink. If you lose a bargain, you drink. They drink because it's hot. They drink because it's cold. If successful in elections, they drink and rejoice. If not, they drink and swear. They begin to drink early in the morning. They leave off late at night. They commence it early in life, and they continue it until they soon drop into the grave." And that's where, like, the documentary starts. Mm-hmm. It's called, the first episode is called A Nation of Drunkards.
Yeah.
We should definitely listen to this part. Half speed, by the way. I'll bet it's hilarious. It's called A Nation of Drunkards. And so, an interesting thing happened where, historically speaking, people have been drinking beer forever.
Yes.
Beer
and wine has been...
Beer and wine. People have been drinking it for a long time.
Forever.
But we're talking like 2-3% alcohol content.
Right.
And then technology, things ramp up, and then all of a sudden... rum, whiskey, vodka, whatever, these high alcoholic drinks, and people can get sauced something quickly.
Yes.
And so you've got a nation full of people that are drinking, and they don't have access to clean water, and so alcohol is safer to drink in that sense. And so the alcohol problem was huge.
Yeah.
And so there were all of these prohibition, temperance, kind of movements getting started.
Yeah.
And it ends in an amendment to the Constitution.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
That's a big deal.
It's not easy to get an amendment to the U.S. Constitution. They got it all the way to that point.
I think the 19th, does that sound right?
The 19th, that sounds right.
Yeah.
And, a huge part of it was World War I, because there was a huge anti-German sentiment, and most of the beer in America came from, that was like the thing that needed to tip it over.
Yeah.
It's like, we hate the Germans, and they're the ones bringing all this beer in here and everything. So, and then it's the story of how ultimately the Prohibition didn't stop anybody from drinking.
Right.
It just created a nation full of lawbreakers.
Yes.
Because they kept on drinking. Then they would do speakeasies, and they'd find a way.
It got worse.
Yeah. I mean, and you got all these people subverting the law.
Right.
And it's really interesting. It's interesting. They said before the income tax, the tax on alcohol was responsible for 1/3 of the U.S. budget.
That's crazy.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
That's how much alcohol they were selling. They said that the average American was drinking something like 10 times as much alcohol in the late 1800s as the average American does today.
Wow.
Like it was, no,
not 10 times as much as you, Jesse. The average American.
That'd be like 10 beers a year. Then.
Yeah, this was So then they get this income tax passed, and now the government doesn't need the money.
Right.
And anyway, it's a really fascinating documentary on what works in government, because even if you're a guy like alcohol is evil and it's bad, and people
like the
shouldn't
modern
drink it.
version of this is kind of like the marijuana thing. Like, should they legalize it and tax it, or should they keep
I would say the alcohol problem in the late 1800s, early 1900s is much worse than any problem that marijuana is producing right now.
I would agree, yeah.
And they even had examples of like a town would pass a law to make it a dry town, so there was no saloons and that sort of thing.
But then a town would pop up right beside of it.
Yeah, I know. And they would say, look, the town got cleaned up, and there's no more drunkenness downtown, and crime has gone down, and everyone wants to bring their families and see how much better everything is. But you're right. Then someone just goes right outside of town limits, and they put up a bar or they stand, and you don't really stop it. It's like, I'm all for cleaning up downtowns, all of the big cities.
Yeah.
in America are doing it. Like I was just in Cincinnati in the fall, and there's a real push to just kind of like go through and clean up this downtown, which I love. I think that's awesome because I love downtown.
In Columbus, the Arena District is awesome.
Yeah.
It used to be a crap hole.
But all you're doing is just pushing that somewhere else. You're not
somewhere
really
else.
fixing anybody.
No, not at all.
Nobody's lives are appreciably better, other than the people that invested in it are now making a crazy ton of money off of it.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with the Prohibition. They technically, yes, they made it illegal, but they probably made the alcohol problem worse. It created it gave a lot of business to like the mob, things like that, because they got no problem doing illegal
and lots
things.
of people are getting sick because it wasn't regulated.
Right.
So they were making it in lead containers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was
so
bad.
it's a really fascinating documentary about America. Like the one guy said in the beginning, it's like the Prohibition is like everything in our Constitution, everything that set up, everything about America was about giving people more freedom.
Yeah.
And this was the first time that we took freedom away from someone.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of apropos because it's like, what are we doing right now? We're taking
them freedom.
taking a lot of freedom away from people for all sorts of ridiculous reasons.
Donald Trump never did alcohol.
He's not a drinker?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Like zero.
That's interesting.
His dad raised him that way. And so it is very interesting. So you think, like, in that world, I'm not talking about the presidency, but his business world, that things would have.
Yeah, he'd be out on the
evolved
golf
around it.
course drinking.
all the time. No, never touched it, which is a wild story.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even for religious reasons.
It was just.
It was because
I mean,
it makes you less of a person. It dulls down your senses.
It's kind of like Legolas when he's having the drinking challenge. He's like, I've lost a little bit of. It's really interesting, and I would think that it would help anybody. I think it would be interesting to people. I would encourage young people to watch it.
Yeah.
From a historical standpoint, but no matter what your view is on alcohol, or maybe you're a person that drinks too much alcohol, I just think it could help anybody.
Yeah.
It's a really reflective thing. And anyway, it's called Prohibition. It's really well done. I think it's 3 parts, and I highly recommend it.
Okay, so we've got like maybe 5 minutes.
Okay. We could talk about the fact that I'm drinking Christmas morning tea. It's all gone, but you smelled it. It smells amazing, doesn't it?
Smells amazing.
Oh, man.
I was thinking, because this is episode 80, maybe do the Mount Rushmore of the 1980s.
Oh, okay. Let's do it.
Now, listen, that's a big decade. There's going to be lots of stuff.
Neon colors.
Well, yeah. I mean, neon was everywhere. I'm going to say like a Sony Walkman.
Wow. Okay.
Like cassette tape.
No, I
like
hear
that
you.
whole technology, because that was a big thing. Because for the first time ever, you could like record your own stuff in your house. I remember vividly sitting down in the basement at Mom and Dad's, and Dad had a stereo down there, and he had a cassette deck, and I would have the radio on, and I would wait for the song, and then I would hit record.
Yeah.
And then I would do that to every song I wanted, and then I would record that onto another tape and make mixed tapes out of it. Like I was probably 8 or 9, but it was like a big process to get this done. So I would say cassette technology, Walkman, boombox, stuff like that.
All right.
So neon lights, cassette tapes.
So you don't want to go like Sony Walkman. You want to just say cassette tapes.
Sony Walkman is part of the cassette tape, because in the 90s you got CDs.
Okay.
And prior to that you have...
Can we say, mullets?
I don't know if that's exclusive 80s.
Okay.
I feel like
How
there's
about-
a lot of mullets today.
I feel like who's the person that typifies the 80s?
Maybe Ronald Reagan.
I would make a strong push for Ronald Reagan.
Yeah. I was going to say the Cold War, but that goes into the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
I don't think the Cold War is exclusively.
It's not exclusively
the
80s. Ronald Reagan. Well, when I think Ronald Reagan in the 1980s.
I would say the 80s, yeah. So
And Mikhail
neon
Gorbachev.
neon lights.
Yeah. Cassette
tapes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ronald
Reagan.
You got one more. What athlete from the 80s?
Well, I was thinking about that. The Bird Magic rivalry was a big deal, because I think throughout the 80s, either the Lakers or the Celtics
Was
were
in every final.
Every final. There was not a final in the 80s that didn't contain one of those teams.
And a lot of times both.
And yeah, and so that's kind of big. I don't think there's like a football player in the 80s that really like, I mean,
Joe
Montana, I guess, but he kind of slid into the 90s too.
He did.
So, and then what, baseball? Is there a baseball player that kind of typifies the 80s? I mean, I don't know. Not really.
Nobody like really stands out.
Yeah. So if I had to pick an athlete, I'd say the Bird Magic thing. I mean, you could say Michael Jackson for the 80s.
That's a big one.
He kind of owned the 80s.
He did own the 80s.
Music. I mean, that was his... Obviously,
he
Jackson 5 was earlier, but as
yeah.
far as like the Michael Jackson...
He became Michael
was
Jackson.
A big deal. There's a music video of his that has like every celebrity in the world. Have you ever seen this?
Yeah.
It is just basically like a nonstop... It's everybody that's famous in the 80s is in this music video. Just because everybody loved Michael Jackson.
Yeah, that's probably it.
I don't think we probably have another... I don't think there's anybody, any musician today that's nearly as popular as Michael Jackson was in the 80s, right?
Yeah, well, like if you go that route, like Elvis was Elvis.
Yeah.
And then like the Beatles.
And then Michael Jackson. I
don't know if we have that
I don't
today.
think anybody took over from Michael Jackson.
Not since that.
I mean, there have been some big ones, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, Backstreet Boys.
NSYNC. Destiny's Child.
Destiny's grandchildren. But no, I think...
Nobody that stands out above
I feel like Michael
else.
Jackson like broke it, Like
if you did... like, I mean, those are the big three, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Beatles, Elvis, and Michael Jackson. I don't even know who else you'd put in that category.
Bo Diddley?
Bo don't know Diddley?
Well, Bo Jackson, that's an 80s guy. Yeah. I mean, it feels like there's a glaring...
I don't know.
I mean, because there's some other people, like you could say like Louis Armstrong, like typified an entire type of music. It wasn't pop music, it was jazz music, but Louis Armstrong was... He was the guy.
Jazz. Well, that's probably it then.
Like George Strait.
Stop. Carrie Underwood? We were going to have Carrie Underwood on the show once.
Yeah.
It fell through.
It didn't happen.
Yeah.
Turns out.
Maybe next time.
Maybe.
So let's finish the 80s real quick.
Oh.
We'll finish it with this hitting the
Neon Lights.
Hit the out music.
Ronald Reagan.
Hit it out music.
I did.
When I say in conclusion, we're closing.
I hit
He
it.
looks at you when he looks at the clock and he's like,
we're at 52 minutes.
I'd already hit it.
Hit it.
When he said it.
well, Jason had been throwing signals at you for at least 60 seconds. So, I mean, he did everything but hold up a sign. So, Ronald Reagan, Neon Lights, cassette tapes, and Michael Jackson.
That's it.
All right. This is Dan signing off for Jason, reminding you to always keep your stick on the ice and never wear the blue sweats.
Sit, boo, boo, sit. Good dog.
I have spoken.
I can bring the gecko.
No. Happy birthday, Harrison.
Happy birthday.